You may have heard that some schools are more violent these days. It's true. In some areas, it's so bad that teachers are leaving. Christine Pitawanich takes us to the Salem-Keizer School District.
It's been a difficult story to tell, mostly because often teachers don't feel like they can talk about their experiences because of potential repercussions. We had a chance to speak to Salem-Keizer educators, both former and current, about their concerns around school violence that they say is happening far too often. We also want to warn you that some images may be disturbing. Taylor Woosley knows very well that being a teacher during the pandemic has been stressful. This school year was her first year teaching special education in Salem-Keizer Public Schools. She wanted to do it after being an instructional assistant.
I just wanted to make more of a difference.
But within a week, Woosley, who was pregnant at the time, found herself facing scary situations involving her 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders in special ed.
I was getting threatened by students. I'm going to hit you, and I don't even care if your baby dies. I mean, I'm talking like profanity, hitting, kicking, throwing chairs, tipping tables.
These photos, examples of what educators have seen and endured.
There was zero education going on, zero.
She says she and other educators were getting attacked.
Last year, I got a concussion. Every single one of my IAs have received concussions. They've received from students, and there was nothing that we could do.
After a month and a half on the job, Woosley decided to leave.
I went to basically almost everybody, it felt like, except for the superintendent. And nothing was changing.
I am Danielle Hardin. I am a 4th grade teacher in the Salem-Keizer district. This is my first full year teaching.
Danielle Hardin has also pretty much made up her mind. She's leaving at the end of the year.
My classroom has been destroyed multiple times.
She says students in her general education class have assaulted her twice.
I morally cannot stay in this if something doesn't change, because I feel like it's displaying to students that I have to stay in abuse.
Hardin says she and her family had for years considered moving. Now the stress has helped solidify her decision.
I feel like teachers and parents alike have had enough.
I'm afraid not only is the staff going to get hurt, I'm afraid our kids are going to get hurt worse.
Mom Jamie Scott says the fights at school have prompted a change for her daughter.
I've already pulled her for next year. She will not be going to Salem-Keizer School in person ever again. One of my daughter's friends, who's a freshman, was walking down the hallway and another student just punched him, broke his nose, sent him to the hospital.
Scott says the fights are then posted to social media. She showed us an Instagram page dedicated to displaying them.
One kid's yelling at another kid. So they're arguing back and forth. I'm shaking just watching those 2 videos. Something has to change.
That was the sentiment at Waldo Middle School, where nearly all licensed staff signed this letter to the superintendent, asking for more counselors, behavioral specialists, and school security officers, as well as consequences for students who misbehave.
I think our response is first to acknowledge where our staff are coming from, and then to ask how we can help.
That's Ethan Udosinata, Salem-Keizer's assistant superintendent. He says while they're seeing more physical and aggressive behavior this year, in prior years, behavioral issues seemed to spike at certain times. For instance, before winter break or spring break. That was the case this year as well.
We, in partnership with our Teachers Association, went and did some visits at Waldo so that we can assess together what the climate was like in the school.
Udosinata says at schools like Waldo, where there seem to be more disruptive behaviors, the district increases security presence, not through the use of school resource officers, but through school security specialists who walk the halls unarmed.
We have maybe 2 or 3 or maybe even 5 school security specialists that we can spread out throughout the school, which really does increase the security presence more than a singular SRO or school resource officer being present on campus.
And Udosinata also says there are consequences for kids who misbehave. There have been roughly 5,000 suspensions in the district. That's a number that's down from previous years, despite the heightened level of behavior.
We're putting a lot of other strategies in place that I think deserve credit for the reduction of suspensions.
Meantime, Taylor Woosley will pay for her decision to leave. A district program covered the cost for her to become a special education teacher and requires she work in the district for at least 3 years.
I decided that I would rather pay my schooling, which was over $6,000, and leave. I was fortunate enough to get hired at a smaller district where I took an $11,000 pay cut.
Woosley is willing to sacrifice that money, but she's worried about the students.
I'm terrified of what this whole next generation is going to look like if we continue down this road as educators.
Christine Pitawanich, KGW News.